Tiny size, unmatched defiance. The skin is pure armor. The bite only triggers a calculated defense. This is not the heat of blind courage. It is a display of cold, absolute calculation for survival. Lions, leopards, the strike of venom. The gamut of predators surrounds it. Why does this solitary creature refuse to yield its ground? The secret to its survival is etched into its very being. Loose hide, razor claws, and an unnerving patience. Small in frame, yet utterly unconquerable. The identity of the adversary is irrelevant. With its small frame, the creature executes a relentless advance. The king, at last, cedes a single step of ground. This retreat is not a failure of force, but a conscious display of superior resolve. Though encircled by the enemy, its resolve never fractures. The battle is waged not by the physical form, but by the ferocity of its spirit. The charge is a decisive, preemptive strike, not an act of arrogance. In the instant of commitment, all primal fear is purged. The lion displays his full arsenal. Immense size, crushing strength, and unyielding dominance. Yet, the opponent's gaze remains unbroken by the display of might. Neither retreat nor movement is an option. Holding its position, it confronts the terror with sheer presence. The king makes the final conscious decision to concede the ground. The true surrender is not physical. It is a fracture of the will that begins in the mind. Triumph is forged, not in the skirmish, but in the iron refusal to yield ground. True measure of might lies in the unwavering resolve to simply persevere. A crushing mass coils around it, severing the air supply. Recognizing the futility of brute strength, it withholds all physical counter. The loose, supple skin permits an internal pivot even when ensnared. This is no fortunate accident. It is the calculated triumph of a million years of refinement. With the return of the breath, a potent counter-offensive is launched without delay. The sole objective is the cranium of the aggressor. The brink of demise is instantly transformed into a feast. This achievement transcends mere survival. It is the definitive triumph. To secure life is to secure the next battle. The objective was never victory. It was the unyielding choice to never concede. Another threat emerges, drawn by the scent of the prize. The dedication that secured the kill will not permit it to be relinquished easily. True strength is not measured by the strike, but by the unyielding shield, the unwavering will to safeguard others. That is the highest form of genuine might. The conflict's purpose is not to prove strength, but to preserve life. The highest triumph is not in the foe's defeat, but in the self's unbroken continuity. A new predator appears, one that wages war with sheer brute force. Yet the response is not always a reciprocal show of power. The act of withholding the fight is often the highest form of valor. It is not an act of surrender, but an iron-willed dedication to safeguard what matters. The strategy is the conscious conservation of vital resources. Fights that hold no value are boldly abandoned to avoid needless expenditure. The ultimate goal is not the opponent's demise, but the preservation of self. The real triumph is found in securing the chance to meet the next day's challenge. The adversary's relentless hunger brings a fortified force. The perimeter is closed. The option to flee has been nullified. The initial conflict was a deliberate decision. Now, all alternatives have been extinguished. Physical strength yields as the spiritual will is honed to a razor edge. If wisdom dictates retreat, then the iron will to endure is nothing less than fate. The ability to incite terror does not equate to inherent power. The moment fear is purged from the heart, the true contest has already concluded. This pursuit unfolds in a realm of perfect silence. The predator materializes like a pure shadow. It is the leopard. The hunter's jaws fail to breach the natural bulwark of the hide. The grip is defeated as the inner body executes a sharp, deliberate pivot to gain release. The leopard executes a swift, economical, tactical disengagement. No hesitation, only precise repositioning. The true victor is determined not in the flight, but in the decision to stand fast. The one who refuses motion is the one whose will is unbreakable. The adversary's enduring pursuit renews the contest. Faced with an unyielding survivor, even the force of persistence is rendered ineffective. Neither a reaction nor a pursuit is observed. The only movement is the single, uninterrupted course forward. The most potent response can often be deliberate non-engagement. The conflict concludes not through might, but through a superiority of resolve. The win is not the finish line, it's the will to keep moving. The hierarchy is shattered by the colossal rival. Despite the logic for retreat, the advance is a relentless, unbroken trajectory. The blow was absorbed and the body violently displaced. But the will is indomitable. It instantly regains its footing. Victory is not guaranteed by sheer magnitude of size. The ultimate victor is the one whose resolve outlasts the adversary's stamina. The objective is not to seize victory, but to maintain the absolute refusal to yield. True valor is not a matter of mass, but of unswerving direction. Triumph rarely announces itself with a roar of conviction. The real measure of power is quietly forged within the silence. The curved claw is designed not for the earth, but for the creation of a new trajectory. The one who forges the true way is the one whose movement is perpetually unceasing. The skin is a slipknot. The grip fails, but the body remains loose. No chain on the body, no cage on the mind. An injury is not a mandate for cessation of effort. It serves as a stark, indelible marker to redouble the intensity of the push forward. The challenge is steel-plated. He knows every wall has a weakness. Movement shows no panic, nor frantic haste. Persistence is not velocity, but an unwavering, consistent trajectory. No pushing, only searching for the soft spot. He knows the crack is always in the wall. The impossible is not found in the challenge's difficulty. It resides solely in the will that chooses to surrender. The challenge now shifts from kinetic force to the silent threat of venom. There is no evasion. The creature chooses direct frontal confrontation. Fear is instantaneously banished by the initiation of the charge. The terror only takes root when the will allows for inaction. The movement is beyond anticipation, entirely devoid of pause. The sole objective of the charge remains the aggressor's cranium. The shadow of fear never truly lifts from the spirit. It is simply that the will to act proved the superior force. As the venom saturates the system, the breath turns labored and weak. The final result is inevitable. The body gives way. The essence of strength is not perpetual standing. It lies instead in the indomitable spirit that remains unbroken even after the fall. Gradually, the lungs reclaim the air. The heart's rhythm is restored to the body's core. The law is simple. If you are cast down, you must rise again. The only real cessation is the moment you choose to halt all movement. The struggle was never for the sake of triumph. It was waged purely for the sake of continuance. Might is not measured by sheer scale, nor is courage the simple absence of terror. It is the fundamental refusal to cease all motion, even under the shadow of dread. The planes demand, what fuels the struggle? The reply, the duty to simply exist outweighs all goals. Triumph is not a fixed point, but the enduring rhythm of a journey. And with every measured stride, the creature reaffirms its dominance.